This video is about a story of the magical Book of Golden Talisman. Frustration corrodes your senses of thinking and makes us vulnerable to act wisely in most of our toughest and important situations. In this video, we are going to see a story which will explain you the consequence which we will face when we reach the end of frustration. By the end of the story, you will get an idea of how to face a frustration in a more positive way. This is Dr. Shiny Clarissa, and I welcome you all to my channel, Learn and Shine. Alexandria is one of the most beautiful and elegant cities in Egypt. This city is known for its ancient monuments, architectured at its best to elicit the spirit of age-old traditions. Once a rendezvous library in a small town of Alexandria was on fire, and all the valuable ancient books and literatures were burned to ashes. Almost all the ancient records, documents, and books got burnt in that fire. Many people were gathered to put out the fire. Out of all the destroyed books, there was one book left which was even untouched by fire. And that was the magical Book of Golden Talisman. And now it's time to introduce the hero of our story, John. John is a keeper of the library. He found this book, which is sparkling and shining from all the other burnt ashes of other books. He was so amused to see this book. This book was as good as new. Astonished by its sparkling beauty, he decided to check it out. He read the entire book and found out the existence of the stone of golden talisman. The beauty of this stone is, when someone rubs this stone against anything, it will turn anything into gold. And this stone can be found on the shores of the Red Sea, and it just appears like a normal pebble. The only way to find out this stone is to feel the warmth of the stone when placed inside the palm. Despite the other normal pebbles, which will be ice cold when we feel it, yes, this pebble of golden talisman will be very warm, and other pebbles will be ice cold. Keeping this in mind, John decided to leave Alexandria to reach Red Sea in order to find the stone of golden talisman. He left Alexandria and traveled day and night. John packed his bag and started his journey on the search of magical stone. His thought of getting rich made him to travel day and night, miles and kilometers, and at last he reached the shores of the Red Sea. He built a tent and started to explore by checking every stones one by one in the shores of Red Sea. There were so many pebbles in the shore. John was searching each and every stones one by one each day and found every stones to be ice cold. Every morning he wakes up and moves out of his tent to pick up one pebble and keep it in his palm to feel for its warmness. To his disappointment, every day he felt only the coldness of the pebble, the coldness of the Red Sea, as well as the frustrated feeling of not getting the correct stone made him to get stressed. He started to feel so frustrated seeing the same tent daily, day after day. The thought of not finding the correct pebble made him so frustrated.
Every morning he did the same thing. He came out of his tent, pick a pebble, keep in his palm to feel for its warmness. Despite he felt the ice cold of the pebble, and he threw the same pebble back into the sea. He was doing the same thing day by day. Almost 1 year passed, doing the same thing each day. And then the day came. He was so frustrated to the thought of spending an entire year absolutely worthless. He got fierce with anger and started getting so frustrated. He decided to spend his last day there by checking one last stone the next morning. His hopes of becoming a rich man started booming up in the earlier days, but now it started getting fading away. He decided to take this one last chance by taking one last day of spending his time there. The next morning, if he still found the wrong stone, he decided to jump and end his life along with the pebble by drowning himself to death in the sea. This sense of frustration was causing him to take this absolute bad decision. The sun rose, and it was a blissful morning. But not for John. It depends only on the warmth of the pebble he chooses. John woke up really very frustrated of his life and came out of his tent to take one last chance. To his astonishment, he found all the pebbles to be so dull and dark like never before. And amidst of all these dark pebbles, there was this one pebble glowing and shining, seemingly bright. John decided to take his last chance by selecting that one stone. He went near it and picked it up, the shining pebble, and kept it in his palm. His scorching frustration reached its end. And this is the end of John. He jumped into the sea along with the pebble. He started drowning deeper and deeper. By this time, John realized, and he can now sense the warmness of the pebble in his clenched fist. And he cried in terrible pain for making an absolute blunder mistake he had done. Before realizing the warmness of the pebble which he had selected. Yes, that was the right pebble he selected, but his sense of frustration made him not to realize the correctness and the warmness of the pebble he chose. He felt an absolute and terrible pain. He started gasping and was fighting, but he could not. He was fighting to stay alive. And it was too late. He let out his last breath, and John was dead, along with the stone of golden talisman in his hands. Even though he got the right pebble, frustrated John eventually let out his last breath into the sea, even after having acquired the search of his life. This is the story of the golden talisman, and this story reveals the truth of what frustration will do to us. Remember, frustration will not let us see the right way. It pushes you to the darkness. More than 50% of self-killing or suicides occurring all over the world is just because of a person getting frustrated. This is what frustration will do to you. It will ruin your life, eventually leading you to take this absolute bad decision, ending your life. So stop getting frustrated. Life is tough for everyone, not only for you. Stay calm and take a deep breath before taking any decision being frustrated. Remember the worth of your life. Be unbreakable. You are not that easy to give up. Just focus and believe. Everyone is here for a reason. Just find out yours and move forward. Life is yours.
Hope you all like my video. Until I meet you all in my next video, this is Dr. Shiny Clarissa waving you all bye just for now. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Learn and Shine.